Darlings, it's Friday, which means it's time to party like it's 1999. Because it is actually 1999 here at New Job Who Dis. Welcome, well, hello, one and all of my 10 listeners, you know who you are, to New Job Who Dis. I am your hostess with the mostest, Halston Body at your service. I am here to guide you through my treasure trove of stories going through the American workplace, starting in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and currently in Los Angeles, California. But there's a long road in between those two lovely cities. I'm here to tell you of all the failures, all of the successes, all of the dreams, all of the things that I can possibly muster up to tell you. Possibly provide you some perspective, give you some hope, give you some, maybe a chuckle even. Ha ha! Listen to that idiot Halston Body and what he fell on his face doing back in those 90s. Oh, what a treat. Listen, I'm here to give you some inside scoop. I've been through a long road, and as I've said before, and I will say it again, so fair warning, it doesn't take overnight to become Halston Body. It does not take just waking up in a fever dream and thinking this is where it's at. There is a lot of up and down. There is a lot of in and out. There's a lot of things that I had to get through to get to the place where I am currently at. And it is a lot of work. It's a lot of work, folks. Whew, where did we leave off? Thank you, by the way, to all my listeners on Podbean, on Apple Podcasts, and on Spotify. Thank you for listening and giving me a week off. Thank you here on YouTube land for giving me the week off, or the day off, I should say. I took Monday off to recoup, just get a little vitamin D, get some sun, get some me time, you know. And we're allowed that now in the workplace, aren't we? But boy, back in the day, you didn't want to take time off. That was weak. Come on. You just have a little cold, go into work, you're fine. You can walk on two legs, you can drive your car, you can get on the bus. It's just a sniffle. But yeah, no, I took time off, so there we go. Done. We're here back, though. We're here to talk about where we ended the decade. The 90s are coming to a close. The fever pitch of the millennium and Y2K frenzy is starting to rev up. I have failed out of radio after succeeding so hard. My dream job falls through my hand like sands through the hourglass. And in my own scrappy, gotta stay employed, gotta get a job, gotta do what you gotta do sort of momentum, I went back to my old bag of tricks. I mean, you gotta, right? I have to pick up the paper, gotta start talking, gotta start asking around. And I ended up working at a bar called Woody's in Milwaukee, and it is still there. I couldn't tell you the exact corner. It's something second and something. I can't tell you. It's south of Allen Bradley. There, that's where it's at, on 2nd Street, and by the bus station. And yeah, I had to make ends meet because the bills were piling up, as we've discussed before. The credit bills are piling up a little bit. I gotta pay the bills, gotta pay the rent, gotta sort out my life. I didn't process the loss of working at the radio station. I just kept moving. I kind of played the, okay, what's next? I just gotta keep moving. Gotta pay the bills. Gotta work. Don't worry about it. I didn't make any clear conscious decision to be like, Screw radio. I'm never working in this town again. That was probably where my grieving took place, is by the fact that I didn't even pick up the paper and try and look for another radio job. I didn't ask anybody at the station for a reference. Hey, where else could I work? Where could I possibly take my show? Take my such a young voice. Where can I work it out? What station in some smaller city do I have to move to and stay there? But I was comfortable in Milwaukee. I felt like I needed to stay there because of family, and there's connective tissue with friends, and just I was finally kind of sowing my oats. I was dating. I had a boyfriend. Got rid of him because he didn't believe in my dream in radio, and he was just a really bitter man, and did not want to be with him anymore. So found a new boyfriend at Woody's, and that was the worst boyfriend I've ever had in my entire life. Doug is the winner. And that's an entire different podcast. So we'll just leave it at that, because that is not the focus of this podcast, is my love life. But I found this guy and I was with him, and it was tragic. So I did the scrappy thing that I did, which was follow in the footsteps of my family. I had aunts and uncles that worked at the phone company. I had a father who worked at the gas company. Money seemed like it was a thing. Okay, hey. And I looked in the paper. This was desperation hour, by the way, because I didn't really have a plan. I didn't know what I wanted to do post radio. And I didn't, again, cement it. I didn't put the last nail in the coffin and say, screw radio, I'm never doing this again. I just kind of went, I don't know what to do. I was told I wasn't as good on the air as I possibly could be. I don't know how to help that. I don't know where to, I did good in school. Now what? Bartending, not enough money. And I find a job in the paper for a phone company job. And this phone company job, I can barely remember what I was actually reporting on. The title of the job was fancier than the job itself, 1000%. The title of the job was Maintenance Administrator. I do believe this was for a company, the phone company in Milwaukee. It was known as Ameritech. It was one of the baby bells. Back in the day, it was Wisconsin Bell, Indiana Bell, Michigan Bell, Illinois Bell, and Ohio Bell. And then it merged all together and became Ameritech. And then I don't know where it went from there. We'll get to when I left, but when I was there, it was just Ameritech. And what a maintenance administrator was, essentially, is that we were the main deal. Ameritech owned the lines, the phone lines, the telephone poles. We did the maintenance on it. We owned those lines. What we did, if I can piece this together correctly, is that we would resell our lines to other phone companies, and they would sell it to customers that were lower income or didn't match Ameritech's credit lineage or whatever passing grade you needed to have an actual normal, like, everyday, what everybody else seems to have, phone service. You could get Sprint or AT&T or somebody else, but it would actually be them renting our lines, and that's what we were a part of. We were part of a division called Resale Repair. So we were reselling the lines to other people so they could, give service to people that they just wanted to give service to. And it was very inner city, and it was very low income, and it was very credit checky, and it was not a good bargain, but that's how they got them. And so, yeah, so it was an easy job. I will tell you this. It was hard to get in the door. A lot of tests, a lot of quizzes, a lot of putting you through the ringer to get to this position, because it was a union job and it paid quite a lot of money for that day. I'd have to look back at like what was a phone tech getting paid back in those days. And I'd have to go back and Google the sort of, how much was I kind of making? All I know was I was actually making a lot of money for compared to what I was dealing with, compared to the part to not full sort of kind of time at WKTI mixed with working at a bartending job and working all these quick and dirty, restaurant positions, and doing the 12-hour hustle and sleeping during the day and working at night and all of that. It paved a way to make more money. I was making money. And I wasn't chasing my career anymore. So I sort of cut loose. I was young. I didn't go out I didn't really hit the ground running at the club scene when I was 21. I went out a little bit, but didn't have any, go out friends with when I was at that age. And all my friends were in college, and I moved to Detroit and all that. You heard all that. So here I am in Milwaukee, 1998, not working my career anymore. It's fading to black. Fade out, put that tuner down. The radio job is fading out. Getting very minimal hours. It's literally winding down to nothing. I'm working a bartending job, and I land this job as a maintenance administrator for resale repair. Thank you for calling Ameritech. Thank you for calling Ameritech Resale Repair. This is Bob. How may I help you? Easy job, because we weren't taking calls from hot customers calling us. We were taking calls from the companies. So it was just customer service people talking to customer service people. Easy job. And we had to do a lot of paperwork. We had to write stuff down because there was no electronic database yet. So we had to write all these details on this sort of graphed sheet for when these calls came in. And we still had to look things up, and we still had to do some sort of very basic computing, but there was nothing like we had today. And again, we had paper sheets that we had to turn in. How's that? Filing. We had filing and database. We had to have data entry people putting in this information after the fact. That, oh, the days of computing and again, Internet Explorer with the spinning globe that took forever, and CompuServe and all of that. Those were the days, my friend. What? That's what we were dealing with. Oh, yeah. And it was an easy job. I mean, there were times where, it was a steady position. I worked on 2 different floors and moved around, but it was a fairly easy job. Made some friends. There's one friend who I'm still in contact with named Valentino. I went to a wrestling event with him that he got me somehow. He got front row behind Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler at a Raw event in 99. I can't even remember. I couldn't tell you how that happened, but bless Valentino for, Stone Cold was right there. I still have pictures. I still have memories. Valentino was a great coworker. He was super fun. And then, we had a lot of, cohorts within the business. It was great. It was an easy job. As I said, it wasn't a high maintenance job. It wasn't high pressure. It was union. I didn't really fully grasp the union thing and what it really meant to me or for me yet. I knew there was protections. I knew there was better benefits and pay raises and regularly scheduled things and meetings and all that. But I didn't really, at my under 30-year-old age, I didn't really grasp it yet. Didn't figure it out. Didn't really put it to any sort of practical use on a level of like, oh, this is what my union can do for me. I understand the rules and how we operate here in this phone company area. The job itself was at a building on 25th and Kilbourne, 26th and Kilbourne. It was right near 25th or 26th and Kilbourne. In Milwaukee, if you are familiar with that area, that is inner city. That is a predominantly Black and Hispanic area. What I didn't know, and I don't even know how I didn't know this, but again, I moved out of Milwaukee right after I was 21. This happened before I was in the bar scene, and I really didn't have a scope visually of what, where, and why this was significant. The building that we were working at, one day we were standing outside. I went downstairs for some reason to hang out with the folks who were on smoke breaks. And we're standing out there, and I noticed that right across the street, the back of the building, and this would have been on 25th or 24th. I believe it was 25th. Looking back, and I see this big fenced-off area of this building, and there's just like, looked like it had been torn down. And I said out loud to somebody, I said, oh, I wonder what was there. I'm curious what used to be there, what they're planning to put there. And people looked at me like they saw a ghost. And they said, you don't know? And I was like, no, am I supposed to know? Because I've never been down here in a way where I would know what that was. And they said, oh, that was Jeffrey Dahmer's apartment. What? Okay, I did not know that. All that time I had been working there. By the way, I'd been working there for like 6 months, at least, maybe 8 months, going on 9. I was just hanging out with some friends, and so all of a sudden that was revealed to me. And I had no reason to know where that was. I was paying attention to the news, but I just didn't visualize it. I didn't realize that is where it was. I'd taken the bus down 27th Street a billion times. I had gone through that neighborhood a billion times. 27th Street, that 31 bus coming down Valete Street, and then it heads off on 27th, goes down to Wisconsin Avenue, and then cuts straight downtown. That is the Milwaukee bus system. So I've driven past it a million times. But again, when the Dahmer incidents in Milwaukee took place, I wasn't 21 yet. I was 20. So I had no idea. I was working at Musicland still. Had no concept of where those bars were, where that was. I knew it was downtown. I kind of knew where the gay bars were, but no idea. So that's where I was working. Yeah, awesome. I loved it. There's a great steak place down there too. I think it was called like 5 o'clock Steakhouse or the 3 o'clock Steakhouse. It's on, another street, a couple blocks north, on North Avenue actually. So yeah, inner city Milwaukee, and I worked there, and I lived on the east side, and it was a couple easy buses, one from the east side down to, I think I took the 15. Yeah, it was the 15 bus coming down the east side to downtown, and then I got off straight up downtown on Wisconsin Avenue, and I want to say Water Street. And yeah, took the 31 up, and away we went. Walked over to work a few blocks. Easy peasy. Now you say, why am I working for the phone company? Money, stability. Hey, daytime hours. Monday through Friday, daytime hours. First time in a long time I had a stable schedule. The radio thing was stable, but it was overnights. All the restaurant jobs, weekends, of course. When I worked in Detroit and went to school, weekends, nights, did not have a social life. There was a tiny little gap after I turned 21, but I was still dating that first boyfriend. I had a tiny little gap of going out a few times in Milwaukee, but didn't make a habit of it, and didn't make any real cool friends or a circle of friends. Moved back to Milwaukee, get that job at M&M's brewery, the M&M restaurant, the piano bar and restaurant. Introduced myself to Patrick. Patrick worked with me. we got a circle of friends. So now I've got friends. Now I have friends, I have money, and I have a day job. Not too shabby. Plus, I'm working part-time at a bar. All right, now we're starting to build a social life. And this was an interesting thing too. This is the first time I realized that I really didn't want to intermix. I didn't make a conscious effort of it yet. But I really noticed that I wasn't hanging out other than with Valentino. I hung out with Valentino a few times. Valentino was my bud at work. He's a cool guy, you know, him and Byron. We had a few folks that were really jamming at the phone company at Ameritech. But I really didn't like make friends where we were going out all the time and hanging out and meeting each other's friends and boyfriends. I kept my gay life on the side from everything else. I was out of the closet, but I wasn't out to a point where I merged my straight friends in with my gay life. And again, it wasn't because I felt closeted. I just didn't know how to do it. I didn't think it was a thing. We just sort of stayed separate. We just kept to ourselves and had my own gay Milwaukee life with my friends. But yeah, I kept my work at work, and it was, again, not a conscious decision. Valentino was the only one I hung up with. We hung up, we made music, we played music, we went to that wrestling show. It was a cool cat. Real cool cat. And, I'm fortunate to still somehow be in somewhat of a contact with him. I can reach him out on Instagram. He's cool. So there we are. There I am bartending, and I decided, I'm working at this phone company, making money, starting to pay down those bills. That's a good thing. When you start paying down those bills and you've got some credit cards, you can start getting more credit cards. Of course. Got to build more credit. Hey, he's young. He's making money. He's got a union job. He's got insurance. He's got it going on. Give him some more credit. Oh, maybe he needs a Best Buy credit card. That sounds great. Maybe a Target credit card. Oh, sure. Why not? Give him a couple of Visas, maybe a MasterCard. Hey, Discover looks real cute. Living a life. Now, here's where it turns up a notch. I leave Woody's and finally there's an opening at South Water Street Docks. Now, I say this with such enthusiasm, but you got to understand, I'm working at Woody's. It's the faraway bar. Can't really see a lot of people unless they make that trek on that, on their journey of bars. It's a new bar, so everyone's not really ready to sniff its butt. Like the new dog at the dog park. Who is this new bar? We want to check it out. And it really wasn't advertised other than being like this cool new sports bar, which didn't really attract an audience that was like, oh, finally, we've bridged the gap. And all the bars that already exist in Milwaukee, finally, we have Woody's. Now, it got there. Again, it still exists in Milwaukee. It's lived a longer life than South Water Street Docks. And the boot camp where Tim worked, my friend Tim. He worked at the boot camp. Now, in fairness, the boot camp burned down, but it's no longer in existence. Woody's is still standing and still in existence and still apparently a sports bar. Great. But I wanted to be a little closer to my friends. Tim worked at the boot camp, as I said, and under the railroad tracks about a good long block away, on the opposite side of the railroad tracks, going towards the east, towards Lake Michigan, was this corner bar. And I like to call it a corner bar, but it's like a tavern. It's, a drinking bar. It's the drinkingest bar. Milwaukee's the drinkingest city, but it's just meant to be a drinking bar. Not a lot of zhuzh to it, not a dance. There's no dance floor, not a dance bar. Pool table, darts, right? Kind of a hangout kind of bar. Pickup bar, sure. Oh, yeah. Definitely pick people up. Cruisy bar, but not a club DJ. We had a jukebox that we played, and we had our own, discs and tapes. Oh, yeah. I brought in the mixtapes. Oh, did I ever bring in the mixtapes? The guy who used to work at a radio station and Musicland and has well over 1,000 CDs and has a credit card. Oh, we had the poppinest music. Hell yes. So I got that job because I was recommended by Steve. Now, this is the grouping. We have Patrick. Patrick was the chef that I worked with at M&M's. He introduced me to Steve and Tim. The four of us ran roughshod in Milwaukee during that last year and a half to 2 years that I was in Milwaukee, not working at the radio station, working at the phone company full time during the day. So it gave me nights and weekends, all I wanted. And again, not a hard job. So even when I finally got a job at South Water Street Docks and was working a Tuesday night and closing the bar at 1:32 a.m., got home at 2:30, got 5 hours of sleep, maybe 5.5. Worked on a Tuesday, not a very busy day. Worked on a Wednesday, not a very busy day. Not a struggle. Again, I was working overnights prior to this. I was working overnights for 6 hours and going home to sleep for 4 hours, getting up to work at a restaurant for 4 to 5 to 6 hours, going home to sleep for 4 hours, getting up, going back to the radio station to be there for 6 to 8 hours overnight, and the cycle continued. So the notion of me working a full-time 40-hour-a-week job that was union protected and paid good wages, I could suffer on a Wednesday morning a little bit, drink some coffee, have a Mountain Dew. They didn't have energy drinks like they do now. They do back then. It was coffee only. Or Jolt Cola, or just, cola, Mountain Dew, that kind of thing. It was a simpler time. 98, 99. No energy drinks. They had Stacker 2. Maybe they had Stacker 2. Yes. We are in prime time of the Monday Night Wars in wrestling. My roommate's watching that with me. It's all good. So I get this job. I decide to leave Woody's because Woody's is too barren and far away for me. Just didn't really feel like I wanted to be there. I wanted to work with my friend. Steve became my sister in sin. When we had all of the group together and we had the band together, again, I said it was Patrick, Tim, Steve, and myself. Steve and I definitely became the troublesome twosome. Who lordy did we cause a ruckus? We called each other sisters in sin because we would be, mind you, Steve was married, coupled for a very long time with his husband, Henry. Henry was much older than he was, but they were a very happy couple indeed. I love those guys to death. So they were, when I say sister and sin, they were in an open relationship. I was used to that already. I had already seen that happening in Detroit with the people I was living with and being a side piece to what? Anywho, go listen to the episode. And then here we have Steve, working with me, my friend, my best friend, right? Quickly became my best friend. And we were it was the Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday booze jamboree for a good year and a half solid, working with Steve at South Water Street Docks. That bar is now called Cruz for Milwaukee historians, KRUZ. Still exists. It's got a big old patio out there now. They've redone the insides. It's so much cleaner. Back in our day, you could smoke inside. What? I worked at bars where people could smoke. Oh, I'm sure I have something. Yeah, you standing inside, just breathing it. I'm surprised I didn't pick up smoking. I just never did. Never picked up smoking. My mom did it, and I thought it was gross. Me and my older brother thought it was disgusting as children. So it was forever ingrained in me that the just notion of regular smoking cigarettes was never going to happen. It never did. The only time you could ever see me smoke is if I'm super drunk. When I'm trashed, if I ask for a cigarette, cut them off. Well, good thing I don't drink anymore. So we will never see booze and or cigarettes again. Ha ha! Look out, Milwaukee. Oh boy. I'm kind of just shoveling the feelings of failure of radio underneath the carpet at this point. I'm sure my parents are happy that I'm stable. right? I guarantee that I'm sure they're disappointed. I'm sure they're upset that I'm not still in the radio game fighting the good fight. I didn't really get a lot of disappointment from anybody else, but I sure was disappointed in myself. Oh, yeah. I just didn't know how to process it. I didn't know how to bury it. I buried it. I didn't know what to do with it because, I didn't take it in as a loss. I just moved on quickly because I had to make money and I had to pay the bills and stay afloat and not choke myself out chasing this dream. It wasn't paying off, and I wasn't advancing. I wasn't moving forward. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. It wasn't happening. So I became a bartender. I was starting to sow my oats because I didn't get to sow my oats at 21 as strongly and as maybe normal 21s do. I was doing it at 25, 26. And, living a good life. It was fun. Booze was fun. Friends on booze, they were fun. Being drunk in the streets of Milwaukee, fun. Bad boyfriends, not fun. Not fun. And I worked at this bar. It was pretty easy. Again, nobody's ordering crazy Mai Tais and Harvey Wallbangers and weird cocktails. If people want a martini, they'll tell you how they want their martini. If they want it dirty, they'll tell you how much orange or olive juice to pour in there. You're the neighborhood friendly bartender. It's not a high pressure situation. You're not offending dignitaries. You're pouring beer. There's beer busts. It's a fairly easy job. And what I got out of it the most was the social aspect. Oh, yeah. Be able to stand behind the bar and chitter chat with people that you know or started to get to know. And then, of course, the regulars. That's everybody knows your name when you see your buddies or your friends walk in because they're the regular Tuesday night crowd or the Friday night crowd, or they're coming. You're going to have a good time because you're there with your friends and they're not pressuring you. I mean, they want their drinks, but the ones that gave you the most gruff were the non-regulars, the ones that felt that this is where their place had to be and they had to get the best service. Those were the worst patrons. But the ones that were there all the time and knew you and knew that you'd take care of them, it was a good time had by all. And it was. Oh, God, we got so drunk so many times, so many free shots, so many games. By the way, for those who don't know, and I believe it still exists as a thing in Wisconsin. I don't know if it's it still happens in Milwaukee. I think it does. Last time I was there, a little over a year ago. Yeah, no, well over a year ago. You can gamble with the bartender by playing dice games for shots or drinks. What? Yeah. I want to play dice, and the bartender will play this dice game for you, and it's basically a poker hand based on ones being wild, and you get 3 shakes per round, and you have to play best 2 out of 3, and if you win a shot, you win a shot, and hooray, you get free booze. You can get free booze by just winning gambling games in Wisconsin. Oh, yes, and of course, if you lost, you had to buy the bartender a shot and you had to buy yourself a shot. So be careful, high roller. Got to do it. We used to play those games in the bars all the time. And I mean, I'm surprised I wasn't pulled into the ranks of alcoholism faster and deeper. And I'm surprised it just didn't headfirst dive into what would be considered obvious straight to depression, driven alcoholism after losing my radio dreams and working at a bar, nay, 2 bars in that 2-year period of time. I mean, I'm shocked. There is a reason that I will get to in how we wind this up. So there I am making money, enjoying life, got some cash in the bank. I'm paying off the bar, the credit cards a little bit, got some wiggle room, But again, I'm a crazy kid with credit, so I'm buying things and spending money on things I don't need, and taking vacations with my boyfriend. We went to Miami during this time. The biggest thing was the big thing was the Birdcage, the movie The Birdcage. So of course us Queens were like, we have to go see it. So we went down to South Beach. A little group of us went to South Beach, had a ball. But yeah, the bartending, the social scene in Milwaukee, that's really the meat of why I was working at South Water Street Docks. I learned how to bartend. Again, Woody started me on the right track, but working with your friends and your new friends who are now your coworkers, and you learn new tricks, you learn new tips. I, created all sorts of new shots. One of my most favorite and legendary shots that I created was called the what the beep. I'll just beep myself. Like again, I have to keep this PG. I'm not using adult language in this. I want this to go prime time, baby. Hello. So, what you would do is you would, ask the person, what is your first name? And they would say Joe. And then you would go across the row of liquor bottles all the way across the bar and go A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J. Pull that bottle. What's your middle name, Joe? Oh, Frederick. All right. You pull the F bottle. And what's your last name? Simon. Great. Pull the S bottle. So you'd end up getting these shots that were just like Jack Daniels, Galliano, and something like Grey Goose vodka. It's like these disgusting shots. But you bought in. You're like, I get to choose the shot. What are you shooting? I'm choosing the holy beep. Like, oh, what? Because the minute you decide what the shot is, that's how they act. They're like, it was great. Made some great friends. Steve, again, we ran that town. We ran so many crazy drunken moments, so many bad makeout scenes, so many, is my boyfriend here? I'm drunk. I remember when there was a competitor eagle. There was an eagle that opened up downtown. Driving from the eagle with Henry driving and Steve being drunk and yelling in the car, just slapping Henry for a drunken reason. And oh God, just the stupid Milwaukeean drunken shenanigans that mid 25-year-old gay boys were running around doing in this town. And of course, we knew the tea on everybody because 3 of us were bartenders in this city. We knew everybody. We knew who made out with everybody. We knew who went home with everybody. We knew who was dating people. We knew the scene. And what the other benefit of all of this, meeting these, this circle of friends, was they were all on a gay bowling league in Milwaukee. How prime Milwaukee can that be? The fact that we're all on a gay bowling league together. So everybody knew everybody. I mean, that's how the bars work. It was when I think about the LGBTQIA plus community, I wax romantic to the time in the late 90s when I'm in the bar scene of Milwaukee and hanging with the same people and seeing the same people and going to the other bars and seeing the same people. And we all knew each other. We all somehow, I guess, spiritually had each other's backs and knew what each other were up to, whether or not it was on a high level or a acquaintance level or passing by level. We just had this communal sense. And it was great. It was great. So the problem was I had no direction. I had no goal set. I had what am I doing here? I'm just bartending. I'm working at the phone company. I didn't feel like I had some sort of, I don't know. Yeah, the carrot at the end of the stick was money. 2 jobs, making that money, trying to stay afloat on those credit card bills, paying the rent, being able to afford to go out on those weekends, being able to do the things that I want to do, go on vacations to Miami, things like that. But the credit cards were stacking up, as we said. Working more at the bar, so I'm working, part-time still, but it's plenty of shifts and making some decent money. The phone company job is making me decent money. And, I'm dating this guy, and he is the worst. and treats me the worst. I had nowhere to go. I just didn't know what I was doing, and I just stayed with him because I'm one of those types that is a believer in others more than I'm believing myself at this point. I don't know how to stand up for myself. I just want to be the good guy in relationships. I don't want to be the one who breaks hearts. I don't want to be the one. I stand by your man, Tammy Wynette. That's me. This guy was a piece of work. I could spend another hour or 2 hours about an entire podcast about what this dude was about with me and being the worst. And that was the punishment, though, is the fact that this guy, for how he acted, when the jury was out in the Milwaukee gay scene and the gay bar community, I came out the winner of that relationship because everybody saw the day-to-day progress pre-internet about what was going on because we just talked. Yes, AOL existed. Yes, there was chat rooms. Yes, but it was not what it is today. Nobody was flirting on Growler or Grinder or any of these things. It was just straight up like sitting at the bar going, girl. And that's what happened. It was all talking what was going on in the scene. And I was the scorned wife of this terrible human being that was a bad relationship. And I'm working at the bars, and the breakthrough moment happened. Broke through because I was bored at my other job. My other job was so boring. Before we get into the grand finale of how I made my next move and how I got to where I was at, 3 things were happening. 1, I was bored at work. And work finally was like, there was the notion of being a union representative and having benefits, that at the phone company job at Ameritech, they were offering tuition reimbursement. Well, I'd already tried college, didn't like it, didn't feel it was for me. Went to broadcasting school, that was great. Hey, straight A student, top of my class. I can finally school, my brain said. I can finally be disciplined and actually sit down and take courses. So I got this wild-eyed notion to take a class back at UWM in communications. I was out of ideas. I thought, it's in radio, communications. There's got to be some sort of tie-in. I don't know what yet, but I've done this before and I know where it's at. It feels familiar. And you have no excuses. You know how to school. You know how to school. You got A's. You graduated at the top of your class. No excuses. None. So I decided to take this class. It was just, basic communications class. How interpersonal communication, I believe it was about. So it was a little bit psychology, a little about how people communicate to each other and why things go awry or why things go great or how to communicate or, nonverbal signals, all the ins and outs in the psychology of communications between people. So I'm bored at work doing that. And the fun turning point happens. Oh, going back, I should reverse gears. This is how bored we were at work. And I hate to admit this, but this was the highest paying job I'd had at this point, mixed with the least amount of work I've had to do at this point. How did we get away with this? This was the worst. We straight up, as maintenance administrators for resale repair, thank you for calling Ameritech, we were slow, and they couldn't do anything about it. They couldn't give us more work. They couldn't force us to do more work. They couldn't make more work for us, but it got slow. And here's how slow it got. 1, maybe, if you're lucky, maybe 2 calls an hour. So imagine a full 8-hour day with an hour lunch, 9-hour day, and you're taking 8 phone calls. And the phone calls are easy. They are not complex. There is not troubleshooting galore. I'm going to be on this call for 25 minutes. Oh, no. These calls are 10 minutes tops if you are struggling for some reason. but you never, these calls were easy. So we got the froggy idea of, what do we do with our time? We're bored. We need to do something. So a group of us decided to create a paper table football league. You know, the triangle paper table football that you played in school with tapping it back and forth, and if it goes over the edge, it's a touchdown, and you got to put the fingers up, and you got to flick the thing, and in your face, oh, I got a football in my eye. You've played it. If you haven't played it, you've seen it. You know what I'm talking about. Paper table football. Oh yeah, a group of like 8 of us decided that with the empty boardrooms that were not being used, or some sort of table in a room that we found that was the long length, we made sure to keep it. This is the thing, we had details. We created a schedule, we created a league, we had divisions, we had playoffs, we ran the gamut. And what we would do is communicate to each other just on the same floor. Did Kristen take her break? Is she back? Did she take a call? Yeah, she just took one. Did she? Okay, we can go. And 2 of us would bolt off, go on not ready, and bolt off and go play a game. And it didn't take long. We would do like a 5-minute game. We'd take maybe 10. We'd try getting a couple games before we knew the phone would ring again. We got paid to play table football league for at least a couple months. And we did a whole playoff series, and it was high stakes. And the finale was called the Cereal Bowl. And I brought in a metal bowl and painted it and put TFL on the side in like black paint. And then we filled it with Cheerios, and it was called the Table Football League. I did not win the Table Football League. I was 1 game away from getting to the table, the Cereal Bowl. I was in the division playoffs and lost. Robbed. It was fun though. It was a great game. It was a great time. I can't believe in the American workforce hours and the union represented. Is that even a word? Represented. In the represented workforce phone company union, we got away with that. We got away with playing a table football league on companies' hours and dimes. How sweet it is. So I work at this bar called South Water Street Docks, making some decent money, making friends, making connections, getting to know the community. It feels great. Steve and I are running amok. We're being ridiculous. Boozeaholics, Sunday brunchers. We're being, Patsy Nadina of Absolutely Fabulous fame. That's who we are. We're just being that in this moment. Living our mid-20s gay lives together as bartenders. They could have made a sitcom. They really could. Somebody could have filmed that period of time, and it could have been a funny sitcom called Bartender Sisters or something. I don't know. We were being crazy fun nut jobs and, having sex and being crazy and being drunk and, meeting people and, just all sorts of shenanigans running wild through the mean streets of Milwaukee. Every year, apparently, and I didn't know this until I got into the position I was at in the bartending scene of Milwaukee, there was a charity event they ran every year called the Possum Queen Campaign. The Possum Queen Campaign is based on the Beverly Hillbillies original, I believe it was Granny's original beauty pageant in the mountains in the hills. It was called the Possum Queen, and I believe she was the first Possum Queen back in her mountain home, or wherever the hillbillies that she was, the Beverly Hillbillies, now the Beverly Hillbillies lived. And so every year they did this Possum Queen campaign. Well, what does that mean? What it meant was every bar in the circuit of Milwaukee bars nominated either a regular patron, and there were plenty of them, or a bartender. And usually 95% of the time it was a bartender or a staff member from the bar to be a Possum Queen candidate nominated by the bar to represent the bar in the Possum Queen campaign. And it was an HIV/AIDS fundraiser. And so the goal was, through the months of the summer, and I did this during the summer of '99. I think it was spring through summer. I want to say it started like Easter or something. I can't remember. It wasn't like the actual summer, equinox. It was, Memorial Day on, I think. And what every bartender or contestant would do is raise money any which way they could. Donations at work. It was, whatever it took. There was no rules. That was the best part. I mean, obviously you weren't going to be like cheating the system. It was actual genuine donations that you raised, and you just, however creative way you could do it, you could do it. Now here's the trick. Of course, part of the Possum Queen campaigning and being a Possum Queen candidate was that you did drag. That's what this was drag, and that's what made it funny, because some of the people that you nominated weren't really drag queens. Oh no, I was not a drag queen. I once dated a drag queen or a former drag queen. I knew of drag queens. I had been around drag queens, but I was not a drag queen. I mean, I got football shoulders. Come on. Not a drag queen. And I didn't really have any drag mamas or any real like drag herstory culture to be around, other than those scant moments in Detroit, DJing for a drag show, and just being in the gay scene. Yeah, you just know of drag queens, but I had no real concept of what drag and glamour makeup and all that was. All I knew was like Divine, and I knew craziness, and I knew Kiss, and I knew makeup, sort of, Halloween. I don't know. I'm just going to do the best I can with what I got. I was trash drag. I was garbage drag. It was meant to be comical. It was not meant to be, I'm beauty and glamour and gorgeous. And I was named like Miss Bobblicious or something. My friend Steve, my best friend Steve, named me that. And we did this whole campaign. I sold paper kisses and, to people, and of course gave them a peck on the cheek. It was $1 kiss. It's like those grocery store things for like the March of Dimes, where you can buy a shamrock, or you can buy, a heart and put it on the wall and put your name on it for the March of Dimes, or, for Children's Hospital, or whatever the fundraiser du jour. That was one of my goals and plans. And I made some good money. The other fundraising moments you did was every bar would host a Possum Queen campaign night or show during the run of the campaigning and the fundraising period over the summer. So you would pack your bags and you would do a show over at the other bar, and it would be in good rapport and favor of everybody being cool with each other and being at the other bars. Again, everybody knew each other. It's a very local community scene that still exists. I mean, the local scene's still very alive and kicking. People know each other, and the bars know each other, and it's that type of bar. It's that type of bar scene, I should say. It's the community. So it was great. It was fantastic. Got to meet even more people. Got to connect. Got to be part of the community. It was great. I was just living my LGBTQ oats and just meeting all sorts of people, and again, having fun and being out there and doing this Possum Queen thing. I remember my two songs that I absolutely always did was It's Not Right, It's Okay by Whitney Houston was one of my drag numbers. And then I also did You Suck by Consolidated. Look it up. It's filthy. I would do avant-garde songs that weren't just the typical, diva songs. I would try to do, Pat Benetars, and try to do some other Joan Jetts, and, I was wearing trash drag. tube dresses with condoms glued onto them. Also, projects that I was able to do at the phone company while we were so slow. In between 50-minute gaps in between phone calls, there's me with a hot glue gun and a tube dress, a stretchy green tube dress, gluing condoms to the front of it to be this character of this drag queen, Miss Bobalicious, to make money for Milwaukee HIV and AIDS. So that was great. It felt great. I felt communal. I was working. Things are going great. But I was stuck. I was having a ball with the friends I was having. We were, exchanging Christmas presents. We were going to Chicago every once in a while. I really had a great tight group of friends. And, the boyfriend went away. It was, broke up in early 99, had to get rid of him. Transitions, lots of transitions. Patrick was moving away. He decided, I think he moved to Chicago. So Patrick was no longer part of the circle. A new friend named Kurt joined the friendship circle and the group. We had Oscar and David. There was all sorts of these, characters that came from the bar scene of Milwaukee. It was a great time. The turning point as far as me psychologically was going to school in the early part of 99 and getting access to the internet again. I met a guy, once again, boy chasing. No, he wasn't a boy. He was in his early 40s. I was, 26. And we met on the internet, and he lived in California. Wasn't a lot of flirting or wanting to be their boyfriend. It was more like, hey, young couplet, come check out California. What do you mean, check out California? Yeah, I have a house out here. Come visit. All you need is a plane ticket. You can crash here. I'll take you around the town. I mean, yeah, 42-year-old might be thinking, got some young, hot chicken, 26 years old. Sounds great. I wasn't thinking that. I was thinking, wow, somebody that I'm getting to know and actually talking to on the internet seems legit, shows me pictures. I've done this before with Detroit, meeting somebody I had sight unseen and didn't have any records on. There was no Facebook. There was no social media to like, is this person legit? I mean, talk about an era where you could have got away with catfishing. I mean, this was it. You can describe yourself one way and you look a different way when you show up. This was it, kids. So I decide on a lark to go meet this guy in California in early 99. February of 99. It was an opportunity. I was single. I had money. Never been to California. Up to this point, I just want to make sure we are all within my perspective zone. California was on TV. California was Hollywood. California almost didn't seem real. The land of Disneyland, the land of all these vacation spots, the land where they filmed all these beautiful locations and Hollywood dreams come true and all that. Didn't exist in my brain that it was just a city. Yeah, it's got some magic to it, but it was just something that just didn't. I had a great aunt who lived in California. I can't remember where she lived. I think it was north of. She didn't live in LA. She lived north. I want to say Sacramento. I want to say Daly City, something like that. But again, it didn't seem real. Like anybody who lived out here was either rich or famous. That's the young 80s, 90s mentality of a Midwestern kid who had never been out of the coop but once. And Detroit was just Milwaukee, except a lot more cars and a lot more spread out, right? Industrial, hardworking city, Midwestern. This is what it's about, kids. Had no idea. So all these things are lining up. I'm making money at the phone company, not really caring about the job because it's boring. not getting anything, no satisfaction out of there. I'm now single. I'm working at this bar, making friends in the community, bouncing around town with my best friends and my best friend, Steve, making memories, making highlights, being drunk, being silly, having bonds happen. And I decide to just go vacation. I'm like, I'm going to go check out California. What's that about? And I go visit. And I instantly fell in love. I was like, holy smokes, what? It's February. I just left 5-degree weather in Wisconsin. And you're telling me I'm wearing shorts. It's 65 and the windows are open as we're driving up the freeway and it's sunny? How often does this happen? Oh, this is like this year round. What? Sign me up. How do I get out here? I don't know. I spent a week there. I was in California. I was in the Valley, Sherman Oaks, visiting this new friend that I'd met on the internet, chatted with via the school internet that I was using because I didn't have my own internet at home. Oh no, I did not have AOL. I did not have my own phone line. I was at the mercy of living without that communication. Yeah, so I had to enroll in school just to get computers and access in the computer lab at college. And I was only taking one class. All I had to do was have an ID. I was good. So all these things were just sort of triangulating together. Working at a bar, doing this possum queen thing. That was a blast. Actually, that took place after I met the dentist guy. And actually went out to, because this took place in the summer of 99. I met Dennis and actually went out to him in February of 99. The Possum Queen campaign took place during the summer of 99. So California is now infected me. I now have the taste for Los Angeles and Hollywood. Mind you, I'm still tourist brained. I'm not thinking about living out there and what I could do to make my California Hollywood dreams come true. That wasn't on my brain whatsoever. But I absolutely was starting to feel a very strong urge for change. And the change was coming within. I started performing, doing this Possum Queen thing, and I'm having a ball. Having a great time being this goofy drag queen, raising money over the summer. And I can't remember if we were drunk or sober. I can't remember what brought it on. I cannot remember why Steve said it to me. But it will forever be ingrained in my head, and it'll never go away as a memory of Steve, that he looked at me. He grabbed my arm. It almost felt like a movie scene or one of those, the mom or the caretaker, the rough and tumble. I've had it rough in my life. You need to get out of this town, kid, and live your dreams. Don't do what I did. Don't have babies when you're early. Just go out and chase those dreams that you've always wanted to do and be a musician. You've seen the cliches in those movies. That's what it felt like. Steve grabbed my arm at one point during a conversation or a drink or something and said, "You need to get out of this town, kid. You're too big for this. You need to find, there's an energy. You need to take this energy somewhere. I don't know. You just got to go." I almost wanted him to wad up a wad of cash in my hand and go on, sugar, go make yourself something. Don't worry about me. It's like some cliche thing, but I remember it like it was yesterday. I remember it was at South Water Street Docks. I remember it was at night. I remember he was on the corner of the bar, and I remember him looking me dead in the eye and saying it like the whole theme of the conversation was, you have way too much energy, you have way too much vision, you have something inside of you, and you need to go and do it, brother. Go make something of yourself. And I didn't understand what it meant at the time, but it sure was enough gasoline for the fire that was lit. Because when I started doing the Possum Queen, so I started doing this Possum Queen thing, and the performance thing is feeling fun. I'm getting over my nerves of being on stage and performing and lip syncing for my life in 1999. I'm having a ball, making money. I mean, that was the goal of it, right? And we hosted one at our bar, South Water Street Docks. Boot camp would not have one because boot camp was too serious and too much leather and grr, and we're not into that drag game, man. Nope. So we did all the other bars, and it was great. The culmination of it all, the Possum Queen campaign, was that at the end of the entire thing, at the end of the summer, near the end of summer, I should say, when we had Pride Fest on the festival grounds in the lakefront of Milwaukee on Lake Michigan. They had Pride Fest Milwaukee, and one of the entertainment acts for Pride Fest for a section of, I think it was Friday night or Saturday night. I think it was Friday night because the main musical acts would do Saturday night. But Friday night we had the Possum Queen show, and all the contestants of the Possum Queen campaign from every bar got to go on the Miller stage and play for do a lip sync number, their last one, for the last tally of money that's being picked up by doing these drag shows and people giving you money for doing your lip sync performance and your drag performance. Well, I decided to be in vogue and do Britney Spears' Baby Hit Me One More Time. Whoo, because we loved our Britney. Oh, I was a Britney baby. All these babies that are out there right now living for their Britney life. I'm OG Britney, baby. OG Britney. I still have pictures of this, and I'll have to post it on my Instagram. I put on a tinsel wig, just like a tinsel bob wig. I black nylon shorts to look like small, sort of like, I didn't have a mini skirt. I couldn't find a big boy mini skirt, so I just used black shorts. And I white nylons, and then I had these chunky heels that I basically almost dipped in glitter. I just covered the tops in glue, covered them in glitter, and created glitter chunky heels. And I made these tearaway shirts, 3 tearaway t-shirts that said in like bold, it was just white t-shirts with black bold lettering that said implants, jailbait, and what was the other one? There was a third one. It was something, it was just being just rude about the fact that like she was this young, blonde, teen-looking girl who was a schoolgirl. And then on top of that, I put a dress shirt and a tie. But I also had Mickey Mouse ears to reference her days at the Mickey Mouse Club. And the Mickey Mouse group that she was part of. And so I didn't know how to do drag makeup. I have a picture somewhere of me with 2 actual drag queens. And when you look at the picture, it's like, who are the 2 drag queens and the circus clown? Because I had no idea what I was doing. I had glitter eyebrows. I had red matching with pink and green and all sorts of different. I didn't know. I just took lipstick for rouge and shoved it up my cheekbones. No contour. I was a mess, but I was a clown. I was the drag clown. But it was fun. I was having fun. Nobody was hating me for it. Nobody was judging me. They knew I wasn't there to win. I was there to have fun, and I did. And so I get on stage, and I practiced this dance routine in my bedroom, and I did this whole routine with every chorus line of Hit Me Baby One More Time. I'd rip off a shirt, and it would say implants, and they'd be like, they'd lose it. This crowd was huge, by the way. Bigger than I imagined. And when I did this number, the crowd lost it. I may not have won the Possum Queen campaign by the numbers, by the financial way that you're supposed to win the Possum Queen campaign. But let me tell you, folks, I sure stole the show that night. People were balling up money and just throwing it on stage. They were just like, oh my God, I can't get enough. And of course, every time I ripped off a shirt, people wanted the shirt. People wanted the shirt so bad. It was just like, throw it up. It was great. I think the third shirt just said slut. I think it was just so on the nose. Just the shirt, slut. Like we were just trashy gays. Listen, we didn't care. Treating women like whores. It's who we were. It was bad, but it was fun. It was the best time of my life. And Steve definitely saw my vision and definitely saw that I had something in me that it was, you got to get out of this town, kid. There's an energy ball inside of you and you can't be contained just swilling beer here at South Water Street docks for the rest of your life. You have more inside of you. And I did. I felt it. I didn't know what it was, but combining all of these forces, two bad boyfriends in a very short 3-year period of time, failing my radio career for myself, not growing in that direction, and not being able to utilize all of that, working, I don't want to call it a dead-end job because it paid the bills and it was easy and I had friends there and it was nice and I didn't hate it. It just wasn't my thing. I wasn't like, boy, I can't wait to work at the phone company forever. It's not how I felt. It's not how I felt. It was like, it was a money job. It was, I got to do something. Otherwise, I'm going to choke myself out. And I'm not moving back home at the age of 25 and 26, going on 27. No way, no ma'am, no how. We're not doing it. So I got that job. And then I worked the bartending job because I needed a social life. And I wasn't just going to go out and go to the bars. I wanted to be part of the bars. And I learned how to bartend. And I already worked in food service and customer service and talking to people. So I had no fear of talking to people behind the bar. It all worked out. But I was stuck. I was stuck. Didn't know what to do. Didn't have a plan. Didn't have anything there for me. I mean, I think I got a B+ in that communications course. That was fine. I was single. Didn't have any reason to be with anybody. I was sort of flirting with that guy in California, but I was more interested in California than I was in him. And I feel like he wasn't that interested in me, but he thought he was doing me some awesome, solid favor by bringing me out to California and being this cool guy for a week. This cool, I guess gay uncle that's like, hey man, check out California. You should come out here and visit. It'd be cool. Great. I wasn't really into him. And even when I met him, I was like, this is not a love situation. This is not a romance chase. This is just like, all right, I know somebody in California now. How cool is that? Can I come visit again? That'd be great. Stuck. Possum Queen, that ends. And I remember this as it was yesterday. I remember who was in the bar. I remember his name was Jerry. It was the same guy that we were talking about the last time I was talking about bartending, about the regulars we know. This Jerry guy who came in on Tuesdays. He always drank bourbon and water. He always drank a certain amount of them. He didn't overdo it. I only saw him. He only got really drunk on weekends. He never was like a Tuesday night drunk, but he was there early, got his happy hour prices, 2-for-1s, 3-for-1s. And, I remember he was there. I remember, there's a couple other guys that were in the bar, and I think it was like a Tuesday night. Maybe it was even a Thursday night. A weekend, I wouldn't have said this to myself. I remember it was a weekday. It was a weekday. And I remember saying to myself, Bob, if you don't get out of this city like Steve told you to, you're looking at your future. You're looking at what you're going to be doing for the rest of your life, which is being a drunk, coming into the bar and getting your 3-for-1s on a Tuesday, because you're here. You're ingrained. You are part of this system of bartending and drinking now. You are part of that Milwaukee gay bar life. You are a regular Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday day gal. You might even pop out on a weekday. Once you get a car, once you have more time, you may not get drunk, but you might have a soda, say hi to the boys. I mean, you're obviously working on Tuesday night, maybe a Wednesday, pick up an extra shift during the week. So you're out in the bars drinking, lots of drinking. Not really drinking. I wasn't drinking at home. I wasn't bringing it home. I was only drinking out in the bars, but I definitely was marinating a little bit. seasoning my body with a lot of booze because that's what you did as a bartender. You drank and you drank and you went out to drink and then your friends went out to drink. And then when you're off, you're going out to drink. And then, it's a drinking cycle and a drinking culture. And I felt like I was starting to spin. And my friend Steve, my best friend, my sister in sin, Stevie Grayheck, saw it in me and said, sis, you got to get out of town, man. You got to get out of Dodge because there is a light inside of you that is burning and you got to move. You got to take it somewhere. And so I did. I took it to California. Going to California, I decide on a whim, on a wing and a prayer and a high credit rating or low credit rating, medium credit rating, bad credit, not a lot of credit. Not a lot going on in my life except being a maintenance administrator and bartender, and neither one of them are making me happy. So what does one do to shake it up? He takes on an offer to move to California. Because what else do I have? What else? Milwaukee isn't giving me the family hug. I mean, yes, I'm being there with family. That's fine. I have a lot of great friends that I'm close with. Bartending friends, bar friends, bowling league friends. Great. But guess who is not happy? And I'm stirring. I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm just kind of going out there and doing a thing and a routine and working and that's it. Not a lot to be proud of for myself. Right? I didn't have a lot to boast about. Oh, what do you do? I work for the phone company. Not to say it's a bad thing. People are very proud to work at the phone company. I didn't hate it, made me good money, and I was following in the steps of other family members and getting a good, solid, blue-collar job. Because you got to pay the bills. You got to pay the bills. Tuck those dreams away for a little bit. We got to move. We got to get out of Milwaukee. And I do it. I fall on my face once before, though. Because I lived and worked, or I should say I worked in the inner city of Milwaukee and ate in that area as well. Now, it could have been anything, realistically. But I remember the pattern of where I was eating, and I was constantly eating at these, little delis and little sandwich places on 27th Street in Milwaukee, between Wisconsin and North Avenue. And I remember getting food poisoning, real food poisoning. Had to use my insurance for the first time, go to a doctor, told me, gave me some medicine, some antibiotics, told me to drink a whole lot of Gatorade, don't eat food for 48 hours, let your system reset, do the brat diet, make sure you're just taking it easy, get that bug out of your system. It worked up until a certain point. And then I decided to keep eating in those places and keep return back home and keep working in the phone company area and eating greasy deli gizzards and corned beef sandwiches and whatever my fat body decided to eat down there. Well, I got sicker. I got real sick. But here I am, putting in my 2 weeks at the phone company. and I was a fan favorite. Let me tell you, they liked me there. I was a personality. I had a lot of great friends. We played the table football league. I was there being a friendly young gay man working at the phone company. And so me leaving and moving to California, I think gave everybody a shock because it wasn't just like, oh, I'm just getting another job or I'm going back to school. It was, I'm packing my bags and going to the West Coast for no reason whatsoever. People were astonished. And so I was getting these food poisoning symptoms right up until my last day. And it was bad. It was bad. I don't want to go into the details. I do not want to discuss our listeners and viewers. Our 10 listeners, I got to keep them. They have got to understand it was painful. It was not fun. And it was actual food poisoning, not just, I ate something a little weird and I just got the flux. No, this was off and on all day long, cramps, pain, not a good situation. But I kept fighting it. I was like, well, let me eat, but then let me drink some Gatorade. But let me eat, let me drink some Gatorade. just kept coming back harder and worse, to the point where, now here's the best part. I'm leaving Southwater Street Docks already. Didn't need that job because I have a full-time job with the phone company. So I left, Docks earlier than the phone company. There was no hoo-ha hurrah, Bob's leaving Southwater Street Docks. It was sad, but I was still in town. So I was still going to the bar. I still saw the same people that was there. It wasn't like, bye forever, this is my last shift. It was fine. Southwater Street Docks was still there and I was still part of it. But the phone company folks were treating it like they were losing one of their own. Oh, one of our family members, one of our esteemed, worked here for 1.5 to 2 years. He was great, made some money. Oh, we love this guy. Table football league was super cool. Let's have a going away party for him. Now, mind you, I'm still battling this awful food poisoning. And I decide to make a shrimp pasta salad, little mini shell pasta salad. Shrimp, celery, mayonnaise, poppy seeds, the whole seasoning, mustard, all of it. Just make this seafood salad with mini shrimps and just make this giant bowl of it for the going away potluck, because I'm setting sail to California. Let's have a big going away thing, and oh, what a last day this will be. I wake up that morning feeling like absolute death. Cramps, bathroom trips, obviously still fighting this terrible food poisoning. And I somehow drunkenly stumble onto the bus, feeling like hell, moaning out loud, having a hard time breathing properly, just feeling like death. Get off the bus, downtown Milwaukee, center of water in Wisconsin. I walk across the street, put the shrimp salad that I had made down on top of the newspaper box, walk over to the corner of the bank building. This is an early shift. I'm doing this at 5 in the morning, 5:30 in the morning. And I just throw up right in public. Just throw up right there. This is dry, heavy, kind of like sick vomit, not chunks and, oh, see, I went too far already. See? But it was one of those, this guy's sick and he's like the bile. Oh, pain. Cramps. Are you going to be okay? Yeah, I'll be fine. Ugh. Every time I let one out, it felt better, of course. That's the usual reaction, right? I somehow vomit again, walking to work, get off the bus, stumbling, just moaning, pain. Oh, how am I going to do through this day? How am I going to live? Put the shrimp salad in the fridge, sit at my desk, and I'm surprised I didn't see the white lights behind my eyes. It was bad. Dizzy, not feeling good, nauseous, breathing heavy, moaning, and like just duh. On my last day, mind you. And I call one of the union reps, or I call the main office, the front desk essentially, and said, hey, I need somebody to take me to the hospital. I'm dying. I'm literally dying. I need to be taken to an emergency room right now. Still had insurance. Luckily, one of the union reps that was on duty, one of the main people that was the manager was there, raced over to my desk, got me, used me, propped me up, got me to his car. I was shaking. I was clammy. I was cold. I was weird. It was sick. It was pain. Got me checked in. Everyone at work is freaking out. Where's Bob? Is he okay? Oh my God. What happened to him? This is our last day. We have cards and celebrations in California. And we want to revel in his going away on his last day. Where's our Bob? He spends the entire day in the hospital. The entire work shift up to like the last 20 minutes of my work shift. IV drip in the hospital, regaining my fluids. I was dehydrated from all the food poisoning. Completely dehydrated from food poisoning. To the point where they had to re-drip me for like 6 hours. And bad bacteria, bad stomach, bad everything. And I come back to work and nobody touched the shrimp salad. They thought it was the shrimp salad that got me to go to the hospital. So nobody touched it. It sat in the fridge. I was like, now I'm going to go home with 5 pounds of shrimp salad because y'all were afraid of the shrimp salad. I I had food poisoning for weeks and months. Now is the time, of course, right? Let's leave. What am I going to do with all this shrimp salad? Well, I guess I'm going to eat this for the rest of the time I'm here in Milwaukee before I move to California. Oh, man. What a time it was. Yeah, I packed my bags. There wasn't a big going away party. I mean, I think the phone company one was the biggest one. Steve and Henry and Tim and whoever, people I knew in the bar circuit and Kurt and other people that I knew, all said their goodbyes. There wasn't a big hoopla and parade out of town because by that time, a lot of the groupings had sort of splintered. The exes were in and out of play, and it was just not the same. It wasn't the same group. It wasn't the same amount of people. It wasn't the same friends, just hanging out with friends like it was for that little window of fun that I was having in Milwaukee post Detroit and post my radio career. But that's where we turn the card and we turn the page and we take this giant crazy leap by moving to California. Oh my gosh, the pivot point, at least one of the biggest ones in my entire life, happens in the next journey episode of New Job Who Dis. Thank you all for listening. Thank you for catching up. Thank you for letting me have a day off. And thank you for listening to the last 90 minutes of New Job Who Dis, wrapping up my lost direction and not sure where to go. But clearly I needed this moment and this pause in my life of chasing dreams to catch up to myself a little bit. And I want to say this, rest in peace and love to Steve Grayheck. And I mean, Henry's still alive, but Steve passed away 4 years ago in November, and he was one of my best friends. Still sad to talk about it. He died way too young, and we went through so many memories and so many, we're still friends to this day, and I miss Steve very much. I wish he was still part of my life as I am doing this chapter of my life in pro wrestling and living my dreams out here in California. So rest in peace, Steve. I love you. I miss you. And thank you all again for listening to New Job Who Dis, watching it here on YouTube. Thank you so much for subscribing. Please comment, please share, please like. And as I always say, tell a friend, tell a neighbor, tell your mom, tell your dad, tell a sister, tell your brother. Tell everyone about New Job Who Dis. We will be back on Monday. This Monday, tune in. This is a big episode. We're going to recap our Milwaukee adventures. We're going to wrap it all up in a nice big bow for those who have not listened to the last, episodes from day one. This will be a time to catch up. If you need the Cliff Notes of Milwaukee, this will be the episode for you. I will probably just do a listing of 100 things we've learned about the time that I've had up until the age of 26 in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and how all these adventures just keep moving forward into where we are today. Again, thank you for listening. Please subscribe, please share, please tell everybody. I thank you again for listening to New Job Who Dis?